Why I hate Reddit mods? I wonder what that dark truth is.
Reddit moderators are destroying the entire internet. In fact, Reddit moderators might just be the worst thing to have ever happened in internet history. And by the end of this video, I promise you that you'll agree with me. You know, a Reddit moderator is a lot like a teacher's pet at school. The teacher's pet was that guy we all knew who felt superior to the rest. The guy who'd boss everyone around.
Jock,
the guy
cool
who'd
guy.
tattle on everyone for breaking insignificant rules. You could almost smell their power trip. But what if this guy could boss around millions in the most petty ways imaginable, and deeply troubled people look to exert power in any way
He must have got banned from a popular subreddit.
You only had one cake day.
Though to be fair, Reddit mods can be fucking awful. Who's the main guy? Is it Gallowboob? Gallowboob tried to make a career out of being Reddit's #1 shit poster. On his Twitter, it even says, like, Reddit influencer. And he does seminars on how you can be like a marketing guru through being a Reddit mastermind. I think it's Gallowboob. It is fucking Gallowboob. He even did, hold on, let me find that video. How to make money from Reddit. Does he still post on Reddit? Yeah, I'm not watching 25 minutes. It basically just gives horrible fucking advice on something that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a Reddit influencer. It's like the only social media site where the more you use it, the less powerful you become and the less you can do with it. On everywhere else, if you get popular on it, you can at least make a career out of it, even Twitter. But Reddit is the only place where the more popular you get, the less options you have to make it a career. He chose the wrong horse. I want to see if he still posts, though. Give me one sec. No, he hasn't posted in a year. Oh, never mind. 8 hours ago.
They're the same types of people who become abusive police officers, but instead of policing crime, Reddit mods policed language. In 2020, Reddit mods policed language so badly that they ended up deleting 6% of all Reddit posts, and this is because 6 power-hungry mods are now in control of 92 of the top 500 subreddits. So then the real question is, who are these anonymous moderators policing the internet? Why would anyone moderate thousands of subreddits and millions of posts for free? And most important of all, how did 92 of the top 500 subreddits fall into the hands of 6 power-hungry mods? Well, this is the real story of the rise and fall of Reddit.
Oh, it's the Illuminati? I fucking knew it. Probably all ties back to r/gaming. Worst fucking subreddit
in the
ever.
dorm room. Co-founder of Reddit, Steve Huffman, otherwise known as Spez, in order to monetize this passion, they would come up with their first idea for a startup, My Mobile Menu.
And one of the ideas I had was for ordering food from your cell phone. I had told Alexis this idea once. He's like, we should totally build that.
However, the idea was simply too far ahead of its time.
Yeah, pretty innovative.
After the pitch failed to gain enough financial support, the two would begin working on a new one. It was clear that if Spez and Alexis could figure out a way to centralize internet culture, millions were to be made. And so Spez and Alexis would set out to
actually, they sound like really smart
Their idea
guys.
was to create a site that would be the front page of the internet. This would later become the adopted slogan of the website, but for now, the slogan was initially called SNU. The intention behind SNU was for people to ask what's new.
Alexis and I started submitting all the content just to keep the thing full, right? Because Reddit's no fun if the page is blank.
We would come up with a post and a random username to give the impression that the site had more people on.
In 2005, Reddit merged with competitor site Infogamy. The merging of Infogamy and Reddit
I remember when
Reddit
Reddit fucking
a new
launched.
a co-founder named Aaron Swartz.
Because I used to use
This was
Dig.
a pivotal moment for Reddit. Aaron Swartz becoming co-founder was the final piece of the jigsaw for Reddit's success. This was because Aaron's view of the world differed greatly to Spez's. Aaron viewed the internet as a tool to hold governments and corporations accountable. He thought the internet could be the ultimate tool for free speech, where anyone, anywhere could express their opinions freely. Aaron thought that information needs to be free, open, and unregulated. Although the same thing couldn't be said for Spez. Spez viewed the internet as an opportunity for business. This was the dividing line between Aaron and Spez.
It's like an actual Marvel movie.
It was this divide that would shape the internet as
but
we
with
know today.
goofballs. Now Reddit is only for geniuses.
2005 was a revolutionary year. Facebook had just been released, YouTube was brand new, and Reddit was being spammed with Spez's link. Aaron Swartz wanted to steer the internet into being an electronic libertarian utopia, a world free from government regulation and corporate corruption. He wanted the internet to be a land of pure democracy, where each and every person had an equal say in the world, where real-world leaders would be scrutinized in real time, where elites would be forced into open transparency.
Jesus, this guy actually thought he was a superhero.
An opportunity for ordinary people
Good
who
for
weren't
him.
part of the power structure to take back power to themselves. And Aaron saw Reddit as a beacon of these principles, a hub for ordinary free thinkers.
This is a fight to save democracy. It is a fight to show that our elected officials are beholden to the electorate. not to lobbyists.
Woohoo!
This was a period where a large proportion of tech giants actively defended the principles of free speech.
I had no idea there was such a deep and complex history to
By
Reddit. I
late
thought it was just as simple as, hey, look
2006,
at
Reddit was
Dig.
taking off.
Let's just
The
steal it.
combination of Spez, Alexis, and Aaron would prove to be a hugely successful business move, and people were noticing. 25th, 2010, Aaron downloaded the whole Westlaw legal database in a project with Stanford law students. The goal was to uncover the connections between the funders of legal research and the legal
What?
system itself. What Aaron found was incredibly disturbing. Aaron discovered that law professors in Stanford were receiving lobbying money from companies like ExxonMobil during oil spills, as this served as an effective route to bail themselves out of legal troubles. Aaron never released the documents, but it was reported that Aaron was going to analyze the data for evidence of corporate funding of climate change research that led to biased results. Following these actions, the FBI would begin to track Aaron's activity.
Jesus
Unaware he was
Christ,
being
he's like Jason
investigated,
Bourne,
Aaron continued
but with
campaigning
nerdy
for free
shit.
speech and political transparency.
And try and change their government, and that's a good thing. That's what all these First Amendment rights of free expression, of freedom of association are all about. And so
I
the
thought-
thing we should try and shut
I don't
those
know
down,
who's
it
on
just
the
goes against very
Reddit
basic
board anymore, but I thought
principles.
Aaron was a name there.
Principle, I think, is one that
Is
our
he not
founding
part of
fathers would
Reddit?
have understood. If the internet had been around back then, instead of putting post offices in the Constitution, they would have put ISPs.
Well, it's definitely interesting to see.
Aaron would travel across the US, giving live talks on the importance of a free and open internet.
And I realized that day, talking to Peter, that I couldn't let that happen.
3 months after the speech, Aaron was arrested following an indictment by federal prosecutors.
Fuck!
Aaron's indictment contained charges of 50 years in prison and a $1 million fine.
What?
However, these charges were harsh for a reason. In 2012, the US government wanted to make an example of people breaking into confidential files. And with the US government's failure to extradite Julian Assange, Aaron Swartz knew he was going to face the brunt of government
That's the
power.
prime gris.
There was no way the government was letting another WikiLeaks situation happen again. Aaron knew things were bad. Very, very bad. 26-year-old Aaron Swartz was facing the prospect of living the rest of his life in a cage. Aaron had been cornered into a trap, and after 5 months of his arrest, Aaron Swartz committed suicide.
Whoa, 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 holy shit. What the fuck? Now, is it like an actual suicide, or is this like a Jeffrey Epstein kind of situation? I need to look this up. I had no fucking idea about all this. What was his name? Aaron? Yeah, it doesn't really say anything about it. So he was found hanging with no suicide note, and that's as deep as that goes. Oh, actually, nope. Speaking at his son's funeral on January 15th, Robert Schwartz said Aaron was killed by the government and MIT betrayed all of its basic principles. Tom Dolan, husband of U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts Carmen Ortiz, whose office persecuted Schwartz's case, replied with criticism of the Schwartz family. Truly incredible that in their own son's obit they blame others for his death and make no mention of the 6-month offer. This comment triggered some criticism, with Charles Pierce replying, "The glibness..." Can we use normal fucking words? Fucking Jesus, glibness. The glibness with which her husband and her defenders toss off a mere 6 months in federal prison, low security or not, is a further indication that something is seriously out of whack with the way our prosecutors think these days. So it seems like there is at least some people. I've never heard glibness in my life, and I know a lot of goofy words. I've never heard glibness. So it seems like there is at least some people that believe it was not an actual suicide.
Reddit was undergoing huge development. Reddit had tripled its page views, and in 2011, Reddit had gained 1 billion page views a month. Then in January 2012,
Whoa.
Reddit doubled its
Jesus
page views
Christ.
again, gaining 2 billion views a month. Reddit took a turn for the worst. A turn that would make Reddit the model for the internet censorship we see today. Because before 2014, Reddit was getting a lot of scrutiny in the media. At the
Oh,
start,
I
this was
remember the
mainly about
jailbait
jailbait
controversy.
subreddit, a subreddit which featured inappropriate and illegal photos of young girls. Alexis also claimed that Reddit is defined by, quote, straight white men. The Atlantic and other magazines picked up on this, adding to the belief that Reddit was a place for sexist and straight white men. This scared Reddit stockholders and advertisers alike.
Whoa,
which is why Reddit
what
would
the
suddenly
fuck?
undergo a radical change.
Whoa, this
The
is
first
very
steps towards Reddit's
interesting.
change would come with Ellen Powell's appointment as CEO of Reddit. In the lead up to Powell being CEO, Powell had gained notoriety in Silicon Valley, most famously for her
Is it
gender
Brian Clayton,
discrimination
Risa
lawsuit,
Pokey?
where she sued the venture capital firm Kleiner
And
Perkins
Mim.
for what she perceived to be sexist business practices. And whilst the lawsuit was unsuccessful, the media rallied behind her as a feminist saint. She was the perfect shield for Reddit. so Reddit employed her as CEO of the company in 2014. This was the moment Reddit changed for the worst. Alan Powell's rise to CEO created a new era of Reddit, an era Aaron Swartz had spent his life warning against, an era defined by power mods, censorship and propaganda. And it all began with Alan Powell's announcement that Reddit was no longer a platform for free speech. The announcement came after numerous subreddits were banned by Reddit, but this time it wasn't for legal reasons, it was to escape the bad reputation Reddit was gaining. And when I talk about Reddit's moderator guidelines, this is what I mean. So basically, for Ellen Power to increase Reddit's censorship, Reddit would need power mods to handle the dirty work. And so in October 2014, the first major power mod was born.
Galloboob.
A mod known as Galloboob.
Yeah, I fucking called it, yes! Yes!
The digital representation of Reddit's new era. Galloboob is a mod with over 36 million karma. He's termed a power mod for his vast control of the top subreddits, controlling huge subreddits like r oddly satisfying, r relationship advice, and r roast me. He's a power mod notorious for blocking comments critical of him. And not only comments, it got so bad that a subreddit calling out Galloboob's power-hungry censorship was also banned from Reddit. This was the new era of Reddit. But again,
now
in
it's
2014, this
Galloboob's
was
site.
just the tip of the iceberg. You see, in theory, Reddit's moderator guidelines require volunteers not to use a breach of one set of community rules to ban a user from another community, because these guidelines were created in a time when internet censorship was looked down upon. But this was a new era, an era when even more power mods would begin to emerge, like the infamous moderator Awkward the Turtle. Awkward the Turtle
This vid is for those who are extremely online. True.
2,572 subreddits.
That's
and
true.
like Galloboob, he's a mod notorious for silencing opinions he doesn't like. And unfortunately, these occurrences aren't anomalies either. The most hated person on Reddit wasn't Galloboob or Awkward the Turtle.
I don't know who
Real
that one
hatred
is.
was for the CEO, Ellen Powell.
I don't know who Awkward
Reddit
the
at the
Turtle
time
is.
still cared about free speech and internet
I
censorship.
remember Shitty
Because
Watercolor.
these ideas were at the core of Reddit, and with Ellen Powell's statements and actions, Redditors disliked her deeply. The watershed moment for this hatred came when former community manager David Croach gave an Ask Me Anything about being fired from Reddit. David Croach stated that Ellen Powell dismissed him with 1 year of health coverage when he had cancer. Ellen Powell resigned as CEO. But maybe Ellen Powell was just the instrument and not the musician, because Ellen Powell wasn't anywhere near as authoritarian as the person who would replace her. Spez.
But he helped create the site! He's its dad! Oh my god!
Spez.
Also, one thing that I find really interesting is like you can't really make another Reddit site now, because if you do, it just immediately becomes for racists. Like I remember, what was it called? They tried to make a Twitter replacement and it was called, I think it was like Geb or something, I already forgot now. But it was literally only inhabited by racist fucking weirdos. So that's the real issue here, is because they've gone so deep here, like the only people, I don't know how to explain it, but like if you try and compete with something that's open like Reddit or Twitter, all you get is racists. So like there's nothing you can really do, you just have to fucking swallow some dog shit here. Because any competitor just immediately devolves into only for racism. It's wild. Yik Yak is another good example. I remember that got really bad. Gab, that's what it was. Yeah, Gab. There was a Reddit replacement that I'm blanking on. VidMe trying to compete with YouTube went into nothing but videos of suicide and racism. Yeah, it's unlucky. Because you like now, like you can't compete because then only racists use your site. Like there's like no winning. Like there's nothing you can really do.
Spez's reign as CEO brought about the most change to Reddit, and as you could guess, this change wasn't good. Far from it. This quickly became obvious when Spez decided to scrub Aaron Swartz's legacy on Reddit. Spez removed Aaron's position on Reddit's co-founder page and began scrubbing posts heralding Aaron Swartz's legacy. This was a move that would define Reddit's new position on free, alter and change comments he didn't like to distort posts in the R Donald subreddit. Of course, those in the Donald subreddit didn't take too kindly to the move, so the Donald called out Spez's direct censorship and manipulation of speech, and even created a subreddit dedicated to criticizing Spez. But to Spez, this was outrageous. How dare users enact their revenge? And so once again, Spez used his position as CEO to modify comments attacking him, changing these comments to instead criticize R Donald mods rather than himself. But Spez couldn't do all of this on his own, and this is where Reddit moderators would become notorious for their Mickey Mouse levels of censorship. But then you may be asking, how did these mods gain so much power? Why was Aaron Swartz scrubbed from Reddit history? Why did Spez actively work to stifle the free speech of Reddit users? I mentioned earlier that these Reddit mods are like teachers' pets, with their only compensation being power. But this isn't the full story.
And it's a lot of power.
In order to run hundreds and thousands of subreddits, it takes a ridiculous amount of time that just isn't available to you if you're working or being a normal human being in society. Unless you're being paid for this time.
I remember
for
this.
example, has been caught
I
several
remember this.
times taking money from companies to shill their products on Reddit. One of these cases was with Gallowboob advertising for Netflix on the subreddit Hail Corporate. When people on the subreddit began to call him out on it, he would remove every single critical comment. The Gallowboobs of Reddit are like the Cambridge Analytica for corporations. These mods have influence over millions and unrivaled power on the website. The trade-off being they do the dirty work for Reddit admins, and in return, Reddit turns a blind eye to their profiteering from advertising products. And this wasn't the only thing Reddit turned a blind eye to. I mentioned in my last video on Reddit that Reddit was being manipulated by big finance. I detailed in the video how corporations use Reddit as a tool for propaganda. Redditors brought up the fact that Hillary Clinton received more money from the arms and weapons industry than any other candidate in history. These posts would be downvoted into oblivion. That's why you
What does
see
that have to
posts
do with a
criticizing
Reddit
Black Lives
mod,
Matter
though?
being banned, whereas pro-Black Lives Matter posts gain thousands of karma. It's why showing just some of the damage done by Black Lives Matter to ordinary people is removed. It's why just upvoting some posts on the site will
this
get you
seems like a
banished from
reach.
Reddit. It's why Reddit turns a blind eye to moderator abuse to keep the Reddit status quo in check. It's all to keep corporations and political interest groups happy. But nothing could define Reddit's era
Well,
of censorship any better.
this really took a turn. It's also equally possible that the people on Reddit lean one way politically more so than the other, so those posts just get upvoted naturally more, while the others get downvoted by people. That took a real big turn there. I don't think that has anything to do with the Reddit mods manipulating anything, unless the posts were removed, which he's not saying they were.
Also
They're
has
in
investments
everything.
in game
They're
studios
everywhere.
like Ubisoft, Activision, and a 40% share in Epic Games.
And Riot
in
Games.
2019, Tencent invested $150 million into Reddit.
And they work with Chinese authorities to give them access to user data. Amnesty International did a report back in 2016 on tech companies protecting users against threats to privacy and freedom of expression. The results? Not so good for Tencent.
No.
Chinese firm Tencent came bottom, the report reads, scoring 0 out of 100, ranked as the company
That's surprising.
taking least
Oh my
action
God.
on messaging privacy and the least transparent.
Pictures reminding people of the persecution of Uyghur Muslims would be scrubbed from mainstream subreddits, and of course, the famous pictures remembering the atrocities of Tiananmen Square are banned without any justification. Which is why on Reddit, anti-Western posts and comments are allowed, but criticizing Xi Jinping and the CCP? That's
What?
unacceptable. Or even criticizing LeBron James's sellout to China gets your posts removed from Reddit. It's very clear that Reddit has irreversibly changed. Long gone are the days of Reddit being a pioneer.
Has he even been on Reddit? What? Almost every single week there's a new thing on the front page of Reddit about some fucked up shit going on with China or something. Like the banning video games one. Like if you just type in China, it's nothing but people critical of decisions being made over there. Like just an immediate search of China. It's almost nothing but negativity. Like I don't know what this guy's talking about. Like, everything up until, like, this point, he was speaking, like, some actual facts, going over, like, the history of what went on and what was happening, and now it's just, like, these weird, like, wrong statements. Like, it's a huge reach. I don't get it. It used to be like that 2 years ago? Maybe it was, but, I mean, this video was in 2021. Like, it's brand new. And it's not like that at all now. Like, I remember, what was the... Oh, God. Like, when the Winnie the Pooh thing was big, that was all over Reddit. And unless those posts are deleted now, I don't see what he's talking about. He hasn't used it in 2 years, probably. I guess maybe. I can't speak to exactly how it was 2 years ago, but now it's not like anything criticizing China gets banned. It gets right to the front page. Like, the hot thing to do on Reddit now is to criticize China. Damn. What a shame. This was like a really well done video, right up until like the 20-minute mark.
He's received checks from the Chinese government totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Social media companies have learned from Reddit. Reddit has shown that the backlash to censorship is only minor once you have a group of power-hungry moderators controlling the flow of information.
Oh,
Because
people
in
beg for
2019,
censorship now for some
a $3
places,
million
especially on
funding
Twitter.
round led by Tencent, and in 2021, Reddit's valuation is now at $6 billion. But the worst part of all is that Reddit moderators could have stopped this. They were the only people who had the power to do this. They could have shown that social media companies can't get away with the erosion of free speech. Reddit moderators showed that they had this power to change Reddit in 2015. In July of 2015, Reddit began experiencing a series of blackouts as moderators set popular subreddit communities to private. This was done in protest of the recent firing of Victoria Taylor. This Reddit moderator blackout ended up being highly successful and was one of the main reasons why Ellen Pao stepped down as CEO. This model of censorship
Censor
has made
anti-China
Reddit bank.
posts.
This is why you see censorship everywhere on the internet. It's an incredibly lucrative business practice. To receive Chinese funding means you could double your company's valuation in a ridiculously short time frame. The only cost this comes with is the fabric of Western civilization.
Whoa, what the fuck? Man, if this guy just stopped at the 20-minute history lesson of Reddit, which was super interesting, it would have been great. And then maybe just save this for something else. Like, what anti-China posts are getting censored? The front page of Reddit is constantly just critical of China. Like, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, Reddit is probably one of the most anti-China places I can think of off the top of my head. It's talking about Aaron, which makes sense, because, like, the first 20 minutes were great. I was super drawn in. It's not fair to love part of it, and then when it gets controversial, just to discredit that part. It's not controversial, it's just blatantly wrong. Like, 20 minutes were spent going over actual facts. Like, the history of Reddit, who formed it, Aaron, what happened with Aaron. And that was super interesting. And now it's like this weird reach about how Reddit is all sucking China's cock. But the entire front page of Reddit is always anti-China posts. I hate Reddit as much as the next guy, and I was super down to see, like, more things to not like about Reddit, but, like, this is just, like, wrong. Again, I'll just, again, do another search on Reddit for China, and it is nothing but negative posts about China with thousands upon thousands of updates. It is not, like, censoring China posts that I've seen. Like, this is just an immediate search of China from just I haven't touched anything, and it is nothing but critical of China. It has nothing to do with being controversial. It's just wrong. You don't know what isn't there, though? Yeah, but he's saying that he takes down, the Reddit mods take down any post critical of China. And if that's true, they're doing a horrible job, because this is all from the last week, it seems. It's just news. Right, bad news about China. I need to make sure that there's nothing bad that comes up. I feel like I'd get banned on Twitch if there's something not good here. Let's see. That's what he's talking about, right? Another thing he mentioned was Tiananmen Square. Let me see. And scrolling down, there's a couple pictures of it, but I'm not going to take a risk on Twitch. Reddit still fucking sucks, but I don't understand what point he's making by just presenting something that you can immediately disprove by just typing it in on Reddit. Which ones are negative again? He said that you can't even look... What did he say about Tiananmen Square? That it immediately gets deleted when talking about it?
Right. Reddit has been at the core of this censoring trend. Reddit has shown how easy it is to get moderators.
Reddit censors the fuck out of things.
Reddit has shown how easy it is for users to accept censorship by controlling the narrative.
I would certainly not say that it's a bastion for sucking
this
China's dick.
In censorship has given the go-ahead for all the other tech giants to censor. And people passively accept this because when all dissent is silenced, you feel alienated. The United States, a country which understood the importance of freedom of speech. The Founding Fathers knew this because they understood human nature. They understand what had happened in the past when free speech was stifled.
This is starting to sound like a manifesto.
But now we see the people who are willing to give all of that up for power and greed. Discussion unconfined to conventional expectations. It could have opened the door for so many others who didn't fit inside the mold of mainstream culture.
Jesus Christ!
Reddit turned its back on this potential, simply because Reddit let go of its founding core free speech. Information. The cogs behind Reddit censorship needs to be called out. In the words of Aaron Swartz, when people put their thumbs on the scale and try to say what you can and can't say, we should fight back.
Yeah, that took a real wild turn at the end there. Well, it was cool for a little bit though. I at least wanted to finish it to see where it went. Facebook is the bastion for all kinds of dumb, stupid fucking beliefs. That's where like everything spawns from. Facebook is like the ideal place if you're like a weird conspiracy theorist. This guy just doesn't like China. Yeah, I mean it seems like it, but I don't understand why he thinks Reddit is pro-China. Like, it's not. Like, if he just went on there, like, any day of the week, he would see multiple top front page posts about something that Reddit didn't like that China did. So I don't really understand where it's even coming from. And he said that you can't find the Tiananmen Square anywhere on there, but, like, just a single search and you have tons and tons of posts talking about it and remembering it and going over the history of it. And then all the Hong Kong protests, that was always on the front page of Reddit. So I just don't know what he's fucking talking about. Hong Kong protests were literally dominating the front page of Reddit for a long, long, long time, and it wasn't even close. So I feel like he's just very, very off, or he hasn't been on Reddit in a really long time. A lot are removed, but usually only when the same exact thing gets posted a million times at once. I could believe that. I see that shit in the comments all the fucking time. There's like sometimes there'll be people whining in my comments that I deleted something they said, when I've never deleted a comment in my fucking life. It's because I kept spamming it and then it auto-detected and deleted their comment, because they're dumb. I mean, maybe that happens on Reddit, I don't know. I don't like Reddit, I don't use Reddit very much. But, even I know that that was just super wrong. Because when I do go on there, the front page is literally everything he said it's not. Well, in regards to China. There's obviously a lot of censorship on Reddit in general, though. Leaving my collection? You're not a centrist? I don't care. You can put whatever label you want on me. I don't give a fuck about politics. I don't care about it. It's a boring topic. I can't influence it. I don't want any part of it. Fuck that. I'll just look at some vacuums. He seems like he's just got a cool collection of vacuums. We've seen a few vacuum collectors. There's a pretty popular one. I'm sure he's got a couple Dyson models in there. Godfathers of Beyblade? It's the old men that play Beyblade. They have like their own underground old man circuit. Nope, this is not it. No, this is definitely the same video. Just a different title. And he has a rival, right? Yeah, we've seen this. It's pretty fucking cool. God, he's so fucking cool. I don't want to watch the whole thing because I've already seen it, but I will spoil it. He's not really like the Beyblade god, but he does have extreme talent. God, it's so fucking cute. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while. The 2012 Beyblade World Championship. I remember we tried watching that. It wasn't as much fun as I thought it would be. The Art of Ruining a DVD Collection. The Simpsons.
It's the original Season 6 DVD release of The Simpsons. Surrounded by the other season's cardboard boxes, this plastic case sticks out like a sore thumb. This packaging sucks. Maybe it's time that 20th Century Fox entered the 21st century.
I think it looks cool.
I found something I wasn't supposed to. From corporations being extremely passive-aggressive to accidentally leaking customers' personal information.
Whoa.
Welcome to The Simpsons would get frequent VHS home releases throughout its first decade of existence. There were dozens of these things, but each tape wouldn't have more than
I had a couple seasons of Simpsons on VHS, even though I never really liked the show that much.
There were box sets that included multiple tapes,
it was okay.
but you get the gist. It just wasn't all that convenient to watch The Simpsons on your own time. That would change with the switch to DVD in September.
In fact, the first time I ever pirated something was the Simpsons movie.
Would release the
I
complete
torrented
season
it.
of The Simpsons on DVD.
It was my first time.
Meanwhile, networks were getting ready to premiere season 13, dethroned only by Chappelle's Show 3 years later. And
Great
man,
show.
did these Simpsons DVDs earn their great sales. It's now July 2005, and there's an announcement of a season 6 DVD release.
That's big. Let's go.
Oh, I wonder what color they'll choose for the box. The outer shell was made of a flimsy plastic, comparable to a 7-Eleven soda cup.
Not bad.
To test, I need a piece of Scotch tape to keep the case shut. The Simpsons Season 6 Alternative Packaging Program. The program stopped around April 2011, and Fox.
It doesn't seem like
the
that
domain
big of an
names
issue.
thereafter.
Just a
It's
shitty
now a
case.
Japanese. You're greeted with "Welcome Complainers." Click the button to
Oh,
receive
nice.
a very derivative, old style, nothing new, just like before box. And one of the requirements for the cardboard box is a dislike for storing
So
digital media inside a hollowed-out human
How do
head.
they leak everyone's
It's
info? This
funny
seems
stuff
pretty
and on brand.
airtight.
But some dialogue on the website did not sit well with paying customers vocalizing their valid feedback why you want to receive a box. The reasons are, quote, anal retentive, lonely, will sell new box to collector nerds for huge profit, just like free stuff, and big baby. I'd probably have gone with anal retentive.
This seems pretty playful. I don't know what the big deal
Things
is.
like this image of Homer in the corner being named Homie, just like Marge's nickname for
Thanks for
him.
the 5 gift subs,
Cute.
Sporky.
But then
Thank
I
you for
found
that.
something I really wasn't supposed to. We're talking web security 101 stuff. I found the full names and addresses of people who requested the cardboard box. Yeah. I reported my findings to the necessary
That's fucking
parties in
awesome.
hopes of-
Didn't this
TXT
happen
file
to
was configured
a bank?
correctly.
I think it was a
This meant
bank,
that
right?
Some search engines and archivers
No, not a
undeniably
bank.
preserved the
What the fuck was it?
contents of that folder.
Hold on. There was some big service that had a massive leak, and it was because they stored everyone's personal info on the website itself. What was it? It was Bethesda? That doesn't sound right. I think it was something much bigger. But maybe I'm misremembering, because it definitely sounds like something Bethesda would do. I'll just take your word for it. It must have been Bethesda that I'm thinking of. Pretty huge oversight. Ashley Madison, was that the one? Ashley Madison's where you cheat on your wife, right? Oh no, they actually got hacked. No, it must have been Bethesda then. That's pretty cute. Not nearly as dubious as I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be something like truly game-changing, but that is a massive oversight. The decline of Cici's Pizza? What happened? I'm gonna take a piss real quick before I watch this.
I can describe Cici's pretty well by simply saying macaroni and cheese pizza. It's cheap, it's unhealthy, it's creative. You may regret eating it later, but you're still gonna eat it. That's how I look at Cici's. For $5.99, you can eat all the pizza you want. They have all the traditional flavors, but then they also have buffalo chicken, barbecue. 15 years ago, they were the 5th largest pizza chain in the country, and today they're hanging around number 10. 2009 was their peak.
I never really liked Cici's pizza.
That has since dropped.
But the macaroni pizza sounds cool.
Today, there are more Cici's in Texas than any other state. 42% of them, which makes sense because that's where they started. Because both of their last names started with the letter C.
That's pretty good.
They added their now famous pizza buffet as an attempt to stand out from the competitors. I'm confident that they were unique in doing this because today they claim to have invented the concept. Years later, Pizza Hut became famous for their pizza buffet, but according to Cici's, they were the ones who did it before anyone else. Focus more on that buffet, advertising it, improving the seating. And
I was never a big buffet guy.
Some logical expansions to the food that they
I just find it to be pretty gross.
Things like
You're a small buffet guy.
That's when others would pay them money to own and operate their own Cici's. Once that happened, they started popping up all over Texas. In 1990, they had 10 locations all within the state, and by the year 2000, they had grown to 345, primarily around the southeastern part of the country. Over that 10-year span, they had become...
I've never heard anything positive about Cici's for what it's worth. At least not that I can think of off the top of my head.
In the year 2000, 2003, suddenly, Joe Croce decided to exit the business. He had 2 young children he said he wanted to spend more time with, so he stepped down as CEO, sold his share in the company, and effectively left altogether. But he cared so much about the restaurant that he was adamant about selling it to Cici's managers. Most likely, he could have gotten considerably more money entertaining offers from outside the company, but he wanted it to go to people that he knew and trusted. And by the way, after the sale was done, he donated 20% of the proceeds to his church.
Quick text message,
that's
hold
the
on.
kind of person we're dealing with. This day is their biggest single-year increase. In 2006, they said that they planned to be well over 1,000 locations by 2010. None of it ever happened, but it shows you where they're...
Maybe that would have saved their business.
It's my suspicion. As far as their lower standards, I don't think their reputation is anything like it used to be. Some of you watching this may think that they're fantastic.
Well, this is pretty underwhelming. I thought it was going to be something really drastic.
Place you've ever been. It's really a toss-up as to what you're
going to
get.
be a pretty crazy story, but it's just pretty normal.
That these franchises are disconnected from the central company. There have even been quite a few health code violations. I'm just saying, some of the stuff that they're letting slide today wouldn't have gone over well in the days of Joe Croce. In 2017,
well, if the roaches move in, you can't stop them
sales
then.
Had gone up for 13 straight quarters, which I don't think is that impressive considering all the closures before and during that time. But when asked, their CEO at the time said that one of the main reasons behind it was a stronger relationship with the franchisees.
Alright. That was pretty underwhelming. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'll be back in 2 seconds.